Make life yummy with food for your mind and tummy. Lady Yum Yum.
Hi, welcome to the Lady Yum Yum Show. Today we're making one of my favorite Indian recipes, Baingan Bharta. And that's basically eggplant stew. It's a very smoky eggplant stew. So the first thing we have to do is roast our eggplant. I'm going to do it in the oven. You can also do it over any kind of open flame, like in a barbecue or over a gas stove. What we need to do is rub a little bit of oil, just like not even a teaspoon, over our entire eggplant. I'm just going to rub it all over. And this is going to help the skin separate from the flesh of the eggplant. And you need to poke just a couple holes with a knife or your eggplant will explode in your oven. So don't forget that part. We'll put it on a cookie sheet lined with foil and bake it at 350. Not only does roasting eggplant give a nice smoky flavor, it gets rid of any bitterness that eggplant has a reputation for having. While our eggplant's roasting, we'll turn on a medium-high heat and put in about a tablespoon of a high-heat oil. I'm using safflower. Canola works well too. About a tablespoon into our pan. There we go. And Indian food's all about the spices. The first one is cumin seed. That's a teaspoon. And I have a half a teaspoon of ground cumin. You might say, why 2 cumins? Well, I'll be adding them at different points of time, and they do impart a slightly different smoky flavor. And this dish is all about smoke, so we need them both. I also have a teaspoon and a half of ground coriander, a half a teaspoon of garam masala, which is a mixture of spices. It smells like clove, and there's some nutmeg in there, and a lot of other good stuff. And instead of getting little pinches of a zillion spices, we use garam masala. And finally, a half a teaspoon of turmeric, which will give a great color. Now we're going to toast our cumin seed in the oil. And toasting them will release a lot of flavor, and again, it'll be different from the powder we'll use later. So just let those toast for 30 seconds or so. Now be careful when you add those seeds. If your oil's a little hotter than mine, they might splatter. There we go. Oh, it smells so good. That toasty aroma is coming out. Now we're going to add onion. I have a very large onion, a cup and a half, almost 2 cups of diced onion. And we are going to saute this until it's almost caramelized. So quite a while. We'll just do this over high heat. The onions are just about finished. They're getting caramelized, so they're getting color on them. And now we can add our ginger and garlic. And earlier I pureed this. When you add it, you have to be really careful because since it has water in it, it's going to steam up quite a bit and it could splatter. Oh, it didn't steam as much as it, oh, there it goes, as much as it usually does. There we go, and we just keep that moving for a few minutes. You don't want your garlic to get too much color on it. And we're going to add some diced, or minced really, pepper and some tomatoes. I added about 2 medium tomatoes. If you don't have fresh tomatoes, you can add diced tomatoes from a can. Just drain off some of the fluid from the can. I used a jalapeno pepper. You could use Serrano, or if you don't like it spicy, leave it out. It really doesn't change the flavor. It's more about spice. Now we'll dump in all our spices, all our dry spices. And so that's what I said earlier. I think I said that's the dry method. So these spices are the dry method. And now we'll just let this simmer. We'll lower our heat a little, and all these flavors will meld together and become delicious. Let's give our eggplant a check. Sometimes you have to rotate it. Yeah, see how it's dark on the bottom? Just gonna rotate that. And we'll come back and rotate it a few more times. Okay, here's my eggplant from the oven. And you'll know it's done when it kind of collapses in on itself and the skin is all charred and starting to separate from the flesh. And now we usually cover it for about 5 minutes and let it steam, and it makes it even easier to get that skin off. Okay, time to clean our eggplant. So all you have to do is cut off this end. There we go. And peel off the skin. And that's another good reason to leave it in the bowl with the steaming, is it cools off a little. Otherwise, it's pretty hot to the touch. Okay, now I'm going to give it a quick chop. You don't have to be fancy about this chop. You just have to get it in little pieces so that it stews together. There we go. I don't like to leave any big pieces. Good. Dump it all in your pot. Turn up the heat and let the flavors meld together. It'll take about, I'd say, 5 minutes of just stewing. And I usually cover it for this part. We'll give it a good 5 minutes just to stew together. After 5 or 10 minutes, you'll see most of the chunks of eggplant are broken up. So you can kind of see they're there, but they're mostly broken. And that's when I add about a cup of peas. Peas are optional. You don't like them, leave them out. But I like them. I think they add some pretty color, and I just like how they taste. They're sweet and they go really well with the smokiness. We'll cover that. Those were frozen peas, by the way. We'll cover it another 5 minutes, and then we have dinner. Give it a quick taste and add salt if necessary. You probably want between half a teaspoon and a teaspoon. Eggplant needs lots of salt. Give it another stir. Peas are almost done. Look at the color the turmeric added. It's so pretty. And I like to serve it with a little raita or a cucumber yogurt dip. It goes really well with it. Let's give it a taste. Gotta get some of the yogurt, and I have this topped on top of rice. I love the smoky flavor in this. And like all stews, it gets better over time. So if you put that in the fridge, the leftovers in the fridge, and eat it the next day for lunch at work, it's awesome. I hope you enjoyed this ethnic meal. Let me know what other kind of ethnic foods you like to eat for future episodes. See you next time.